welcome to this edition of News Leader on 6. I'm Jim Fuller. In tonight's news, Coffee County announces the option for students to have remote learning. Governor Bill Lee stresses for citizens to wear face masks, and we'll hear some more from Tullahoma's mayoral candidates. We'll have these stories and more on tonight's News Leader on 6.
Tullahoma needs leadership. Tullahoma needs someone who can make good decisions in bad times. Tullahoma needs someone who is familiar with the area and knows how to bring people together. Tullahoma needs someone who's not tied to any specialty group, who doesn't owe someone a favor, that's going to make decisions for the entire city as a whole. We want to make sure that we stay focused on health. We want to make sure we stay focused on wealth. And we don't stay focused on education. Those are the three things that if we as a city invest in our people, we will see the return, and our city will continue to grow, and our city will continue to prosper. So that's why I'm running for mayor, and I'm ready to begin working for you day one, and I'm asking for your vote.
The highest standard of trust offers a sense of safety and comfort. It's established over time. You know when you see it. You know when you feel it. There's a standard of trust in healthcare. It's the Joint Commission Gold Seal of Approval. In 2003, Life Care Center of Tullahoma voluntarily achieved this accreditation and maintains it still today. Life Care, meeting a higher standard because residents matter most.
Welcome back. Dr. Charles Lawson, Director of Coffee County Schools, announced on Wednesday that Coffee County Schools now has a link to an application on the district's website for parents to enroll their students in the district's new virtual path. The application is due no later than Friday, July 24th at 4 p.m. The program will have a synchronous delivery of classroom instruction. This means that the virtual student will have to log into the class at the same time it is being delivered live in the classroom. For grades 3 through 12, the work must be performed on a district-issued device with monitoring software that will allow the district to monitor the students' actions and work for the purpose of reporting attendance. Other monitoring software will accomplish this task for grades kindergarten through the 2nd grade. The state of Tennessee requires confirmation that the virtual student is present. Coffee County Schools wants parents to be aware that students on the virtual option will face the same time requirements as students in the traditional schools. According to state law, those requirements are 6.5 hours per day and 180 days per year. These hours must match the same time that students are in classes in the traditional schools. If a student is not present and active within the virtual classroom during the scheduled class time, it will be considered an absence. The district will be enforcing all attendance requirements on students in our buildings and students enrolled in the virtual option. If a student utilizing the virtual option is excessively absent, attendance will be within the building will be required. Dr. Lawson also said that, quote, more detailed information will be provided on safety protocols that will be taking place on buses and within the schools in the coming days. We will make every attempt to provide this information in a timely manner to allow you to make an informed decision on what you feel is the best for your child. On Tuesday, Governor Bill Lee reiterated Tennessee's business relief program funded by the federal government's COVID relief plan.
About a month ago, we released and we announced a $200 million program that would provide funding for our businesses here in Tennessee. It's CARES Act funding that will go directly to Tennessee businesses through our Tennessee Business Relief Program. This direct support of our small businesses reflects the importance that our businesses here in Tennessee play in our economy. And while COVID has had a tremendous health impact, it's also had a tremendous economic impact in our state. And this program is reflective of the need to help those particular businesses, especially those that were closed through the Safer at Home order. The Department of Revenue is in charge of the distribution of these payments, and these payments, as I said, would be made to those businesses that were closed through the Safer at Home. 33,000 Tennessee businesses have been identified as eligible for the Tennessee Business Relief Program. The department has sent communication to every single one of these businesses to let them know that they're eligible and to request that they provide up-to-date information about their companies. So I encourage every Tennessee business to go online to the TNTAP portal and Department of Revenue, certify the information so we can get checks out to those who need it the most as soon as possible. And those checks have already begun to be distributed, so we're very encouraged about the progress of this program so far. And while we know that COVID-19 has done tremendous economic harm to businesses across our state, we want to remind Tennessee businesses about the importance of the Tennessee Pledge, especially as we identify more cases of COVID-19 in our state. Our Economic Recovery Group has provided a significant resource of best practices for doing business in almost every industry, whether it's the restaurant industry, the retail industry, media production. There is information for almost any business in our state on how it is that they can operate safely for their employees and for their customers. It's simple actions that people can take, like continuing to work from home when possible, and social distancing and temperature screenings and mask wearing, things that can make those companies safe for all Tennesseans. If you own a business, and particularly if you are set to receive funds through the program we talked about earlier, the Tennessee Business Relief Program, you'll be getting reminders about the Tennessee Pledge, and we hope that you will remind your team and your staff and your folks about how engaging in the Tennessee Pledge is so important for the ongoing movement of Tennessee's economy. Look at the guidelines on tnpledge.gov and engage.
We'll be right back in a moment after these messages.
Hello, I'm Ray Norris. This is a critical time in Tullahoma. On August the 6th, voters will have an opportunity to elect a new mayor, one who can provide proven, experienced leadership, one who knows how to get things done and keep Tullahoma moving. I recognize the value of Tullahoma's excellent school system. Our system is recognized as one of the best in the state, and I'll ensure that our schools continue at that level. I will not vote to raise property taxes in order to have a balanced budget until all other options have been exhausted. I'll work closely with our city staff to ensure that my fiscally conservative values are incorporated. Now, I've served on all city boards involved in economic development. I see that as a way that we can broaden our tax base and avoid a property tax rate increase. Some developers have had issues with our planning and codes department. I'll commit to these improvements. There'll be consistency in the instructions from planning and codes without changes from day to day. And there'll be predictable timelines for providing delivery dates for plan reviews, permits, and inspections. Timelines that will be met reliably. Now, while we can't do much about the traffic on 41A and 55, we can improve our local streets and sidewalks, and this I commit to do. So I ask for your vote for proven, experienced leadership.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
Welcome back. John Gray spoke with mayoral candidates Eugene London and Carl Smithson.
We need someone who's going to listen to everyone and not just someone who's involved in this particular area or someone who's involved in this particular. We also want someone who has compassion.
Right.
Someone that has compassion for people. Someone that's not out there tweeting about this, that, and the other, causing a split. I can sit here and tell you about the Peggy North cuts. I can tell you about the CD stamps. I can tell you about other black people in Tullahoma that helped to raise me. But also I can tell you about the white people in Tullahoma. I can tell you about the Charlie Nils who sent me money when I was in college to encourage me to do well. Those are the people that I know of in Tullahoma that love one another. We don't need any mess here. We got enough issues to address, and when I'm mayor, I will address those issues. We will take this city to the next stage. We will take advantage of this fiber to the premise technology we have. We will use camera systems to help police our city, and I will invite the community to help out as well so that we can stop this injustice. I'm so thankful for our new police chief.
Doing a good job.
I've had talks with him. I actually had a chance to walk with him during the march. Okay. Speaking of walking, I want to give a shout out to Dr. Lynn Seymour for his op-ed. Wasn't that awesome?
Yes.
These are the type of people that I know that in Tullahoma that I run into. These are the ones that make Tullahoma. This is why we love Tullahoma. We don't need people that are trying to separate us, create racial issues.
No.
We live that. We don't want that anymore.
Well, you know, it's interesting that at the mission, I'd say that the population by race was about 50% black, 50% white. Most of the black residents were from Nashville. Most of the white residents were from rural Middle Tennessee, like Tullahoma. So in other words, back then when I went there was no place for me to go in Tullahoma. I had to go to Nashville.
Right.
So I think, and of course I think it was in 1999 that Shepherd's House started.
Yes.
And they certainly does a good job, but it's still, they can only have about, because of fire marshals, about 12 residents at a time.
Right.
And they cover multi-counties. And so the director, who's Tina Holman.
Yes.
She does a good job. She has to screen them out, though, because you got men and women living together. And in a house, it's a nice house. So I think, but she's wanting to say, for instance, to build a new facility for the women, segregate them. And so that would be a room for growth, would be for the Shepherd's House to become.
Right.
More news is coming up in a moment.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get to Stan McNab Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNab Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
All right, the cat's out of the bag at Carroll Street Liquor in Tullahoma. Now you know where to go if you're planning a get-together and want the ideal wine or spirit. Party planning can be stressful, but at Carroll Street Liquor you'll find everything you need. Mixers, gift sets, and all of your favorite spirit brands. So if you're feeling the pressure to pull off the ideal party, come to Carroll Street Liquor and select among the seemingly endless supply of wines, spirits, gift sets, and more. Your perfect party, it's in the bag with Carroll Street Liquors.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family, caring for your family since 1932.
Welcome back. John Gray also spoke with mayoral candidates Daniel Berry and Ray Norris about plans they have for Tullahoma if elected.
What I would like to see, you can't revamp everything at once, but you can start in certain departments. But when we have new projects, new initiatives, new equipment, when we're allocating money to something, that should tie to some sort of goal. This is what we're trying to accomplish. And then every year you come back to that and you say, did the money that we spent right here meet this goal? Was it worth it? Did we get what we wanted out of that? If not, figure out why. If it's not changeable, then you need to stop doing it. But you should be doing that when you have the line items that are just you're increasing or decreasing by a percentage year over year. You're not really maximizing. That's why I think it's important to move to more of a what do you expect to accomplish with this? And then every year you should be coming back and saying, I hit this, I didn't hit this, or we didn't hit this.
So it's something we need to work on to grow.
We can grow. Then that's what the goal is, to grow and be more efficient.
The quality of life is something that any major employer will look at for relocating to a community. And we've done a pretty good job of doing that in Tullahoma. Some other towns around us are doing a great job also. So we have competition in that. But we have the lakes around here. We have cultural centers. We have South Jackson, which is important. So the first question that industry will ask when they consider relocating to a community is the workforce. What about the educational levels of the workforce that we have here?
Very true.
And we do have an educated workforce. We have the Space Institute for advanced degrees. We have Milo for undergraduate degrees. And we're working to get the ability to get a 4-year degree without ever having to leave town. So creating an educated workforce is as important to attracting industry here as anything else that we can do.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Here at Staunton Ave Collision Center, we work with all major insurance companies, and we get the job done right the first time, on time.
Well, I grew up in Tullahoma. We'd always done business with Staunton McNab, so when we needed collision service after a run-in with a deer, we knew to call those guys. We already had trust with them. We called Cody. He took great care of us. He kept us posted every step of the way, and we couldn't have been more pleased.
Getting your vehicle back to pre-loss condition shouldn't be a headache. So in the event of an accident, contact me, Cody Hall, at Staunton McNab Collision Center.
You made the time and the sacrifice to broaden their horizons, to see their smiles, but mostly to make lifelong memories. We think it's time to do it again, just the two of you. Don't let illness or injury slow you down. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live well.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Welcome back. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee spoke at his Wednesday press conference about Tennesseans to wearing masks while out and about in Tennessee, and also Tennessee's plan to restart some sporting events this fall.
Now, while many businesses can do their part in making a safe environment, it's really up to you and me and the individuals across Tennessee to play a role in making it safe in our state, including, for example, wearing masks. I wear a mask when I go out. I wear a mask to the office every day. Maria and I wear masks to events. It's something that we believe is important to protect not only our family, my 87-year-old mom, but the people that we come in contact with every day. There's been an awful lot of political talk about masks. I just want to say something. This mask right here is not conservative. It's not liberal. Shaming someone for wearing a mask or shaming someone for not wearing a mask is just not something that Tennesseans ought to be in the business of doing. It's a simple personal decision that just might save an elderly person's life in this state. It just might be the difference in being able to keep a business open in Tennessee. And while it's a habit that none of us particularly enjoy probably, and that while we're developing, I want to encourage Tennesseans to err on the side of graciousness to one another when it comes to shaming around masks. I want every Tennessean to also consider the magnitude that a simple action can have in protecting our citizens and protecting our economy as well. Our Economic Recovery Group, with the help of more than 50 partners across the state, including partners like the Titans and the Grizzlies and there we go, our mask models, Firestone, that these partners have provided branded, washable masks at very low cost. And while while it might not be something that all of us enjoy doing, wearing a mask, it's kind of fun to wear one that has something on it that you kind of like, as these models are showing today. Thank you very much for doing that. My mask today, by the way, is a shout out to all the friends in Northeast Tennessee at the world's fastest half mile, the last great Coliseum at Bristol. I'm going to wear this at the Bristol Motor Speedway tomorrow night for NASCAR's All-Star Race, the first outdoor sports activity that we'll have in our state. And I want to talk about outdoor sports in Tennessee. Thank y'all. I want to talk about the return of live sports in Tennessee and what it means to us, how we can be smart about it. Tomorrow night, Bristol will host the NASCAR All-Star Race with fans in a very limited capacity that will have social distancing for the fans that are in attendance. Masks will be required. We did site testing in advance of the race for those that in the community that might be working at the racetrack. I want to give special thanks to Ballad Health and to Eastman for donating thousands of masks to the local community in preparation for this. NASCAR has been a great partner to us, and they've worked with us to develop what we believe will be a safe opportunity that can be a model for the country to watch how it is that we can return to safe live sports in the fall, something that I think most of us hope that we will be able to do and do it safely.
Governor Lee also spoke about the progress Tennessee has made since the beginning of the pandemic and also about plans of reopening public schools.
I understand that many Tennesseans are growing weary of the pandemic, and so am I. It's hard to believe that we've been dealing with COVID-19 for 127 days. It seems like a lot longer than that, but the last 4 months have taught us a whole lot as we navigate through this, to work through the crisis and reclaim parts of life in our community that we want to reclaim in the midst of a pandemic. I want to share a couple of encouraging high points about the changes from the beginning of this to where we are today. At the beginning of the pandemic, the whole country faced a shortage of personal protective equipment that made it very difficult for us to protect frontline workers and even ourselves against the COVID-19. But our state's been very aggressive in our procurement efforts, finding ways to procure gowns and masks and gloves. We have shipped over 6 million pieces of PPE to all corners of our state, and we continue to build reserves in PPE for the future. So we're in a good spot with regard to PPE. Those 6 million pieces, by the way, don't include the more than 4 million free masks that we shipped out to Tennesseans across the state. So PPE is in a very different place than it was when we started. We also started this pandemic with a very strained testing system with limited supplies about how to get tests. And there are many states that still only test for symptomatic cases, but in Tennessee, anyone can get a test. We've tested over 1 million Tennesseans to date. And at the beginning of this pandemic, we were fortunate to process just a few hundred a day because of the supplies that were there in the country. Now, it's a reality to all of us that some in our state are going to become very sick. And we know that we've lost many Tennesseans to this pandemic. But from the beginning to now, there's also been a real change in the way we approach this clinically. In the last few months, the federal government shipped more than 8,000 doses of remdesivir to our state. Those have been distributed throughout the health systems in Tennessee to make sure that those who need medication, that life-saving medication the most, will get it. There are a lot of improvements in our clinical approach to COVID. Dr. Piercy will talk a little bit more about that when she gives her report. But I just want to encourage folks, where we are today is much different than where we were before. And as we see rises in the number of cases, it's important to remember those differences, especially as we approach getting back to school. I want to talk a little bit about school reopening. We're working every day to prepare schools to reopen, and Commissioner Schwinn is now serving on our Unified Command Group as we recognize that school opening and COVID-19 response are very intertwined. Parents need a level of predictability. We all know that. As we move toward August, and our goal continues to be in-person learning for as many kids as possible in this state. Local decision making is going to be crucial to the success of the school year, and we are working with very hard every day local districts to help them, provide them with resources and information that will help them make the decisions that are most appropriate for the situation on the ground in their individual districts. We're in process of much of the decision making around school reopening. A lot of those decisions have yet to be made, but they're in process of being made. We'll have a lot more to say about that next week.
Stay with us. Your weather forecast is coming up next.
Ah, the glory days. Running to daylight on the gridiron and chasing a ball with a mind of its own. Cheering the team to victory and marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
Here at Staunton Ave Collision Center, we work with all major insurance companies, and we get the job done right the first time, on time.
Well, I grew up in Tullahoma. We'd always done business with McNab, so when we needed collision service after a run-in with a deer, we knew to call those guys. We already had trust with them. We called Cody. He took great care of us. He kept us posted every step of the way, and we couldn't have been more pleased.
Getting your vehicle back to pre-loss condition shouldn't be a headache. So in the event of an accident, contact me, Cody Hall, at Staunton McNab Collision Center.
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation. It's gonna be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor too when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor, Stat.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this day. Our record high was in 1980 at 101 degrees. The record low was in 1926 at 49 degrees. Average high on this day is 87, and the average low is 67. Partly cloudy weather in the forecast for tonight with a low of 72. Isolated storms in the forecast for Friday with a high of 90 and a low of 71. Scattered storms expected on Saturday with a high of 89 and a low of 72. And that's our News Leader report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6, 8, and 10 for News Leader on 6. You have a good evening.